Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. I was at home, waiting for Sarah, my wife. You get to know someone really well after 14 years of marriage. Sarah had this need to be in charge of everything. I knew she'd rush home trying to smooth things over. She just couldn't help herself. I wondered what kind of story she'd try to come up with. Getting caught must have really thrown her. She was always the smart one, the schemer, the planner, always working all the angles. Me? I was pretty straightforward. If something was on my mind, I usually just said it. Good or bad, I wanted it dealt with right away. She hated that about me. It drove her crazy when all her careful plans ended up meaning nothing because I just blurted things out. Don't get me wrong, I usually let her have her way. Why? Because I'm a guy, and a lot of stuff just doesn't bother us that much. If she wanted it and it wasn't going to bankrupt us or ruin us, she got it. It made her happy, and then she made me happy, and then we were both happy. But it didn't take her long to realize there was a line in my head. When you crossed it, things could get really bad. I overheard her telling a friend once when she didn't know I was around. She called it my snapping point. A moment when I got so angry that nothing else mattered. Not my friends, not my job, not even her. When I hit that point, I just wouldn't care what anyone thought or whose feelings got hurt. Let me give you an example. I worked at my old company for 10 years, got raises, good reviews. They loved me. Then new management came in. They hired some expert. After a couple of weeks, this expert made a suggestion they loved. Everyone's job got shifted around. I didn't really care. I'd been there so long I knew pretty much everything. Then came the kicker. The expert pointed out that we were all being paid about 25% more than people in similar jobs nearby, so they were cutting our pay to even things out. They told me my cut was going to be just under $5,000 a year. I just laughed at them. Let me get this straight, I said. You want to cut everyone's pay because that's what it takes to bring us down to the local average, right? What kind of effort do you expect from us after that? The same or 25% less? One of the reasons this company is so successful is because it pays top dollar for the best people. You don't just walk in here and fill out an application and start work. I had to go through 4 interviews, a physical, and a psych test before they hired me. You have really strict rules about being on time and hardcore safety procedures. Now, why should anyone go through all that to get hired if you're not paying any more than the place down the street where you don't have to work nearly as hard and you'll get the same pay eventually? You won't have parity. You'll have a bunch of mediocre workers. Your good people will quit for better jobs or easier work. Production will drop. Accidents will happen. Everyone's morale will be in the toilet. I paused to take a breath. There were 4 people from corporate and this efficiency expert in the meeting. They were all bright red. The decision stands, one of the corporate guys said. It will take effect in 3 months. I smiled. All right, that should be more than enough time to find another job. Consider this my notice. The day before the cuts start will be my last day. There was a general uproar. The plant manager tried to assure corporate I wouldn't quit, that I was just blowing off steam. Imagine their surprise when I walked out the door 3 months later. They tried to get me to come back, blustering that they'd tell any new employers I just walked out and abandoned my job. Already got a job, was my reply. 9 months later, most of the old employees had left, many coming to work for my new company. They even flew corporate bigwigs down to try and persuade me to return, offering me a nice raise. I laughed, wished them luck, and left the restaurant. Once I make up my mind, no one in the world can change it. And even though it might seem like a quick decision at the time, I've usually thought about it long and hard. And the money doesn't matter at all. Not to me. I can live without money, but not without my own respect. I've said that a million times. I thought back through the years, trying to figure out exactly when Sarah thought it would be okay to sleep with another man. She tried to get me to accept a lot of things over the years. Like that time she wanted to go to Cancun for 2 weeks with her friends, a couple of real shady characters, one of whom was married. She had this whole speech prepared about how it would be good to have a break from each other, how it would make us stronger, blah blah blah. I told her it was a terrible idea, her being in a foreign country, on a beach with a lot of booze, surrounded by a bunch of women I saw as nothing more than manhunters. It just didn't sit right with me. But I told her it's your life, do whatever you want. Just be aware of the cost. She had learned over the years. Be aware of the cost was one of my key phrases. It meant I knew she was wrong or it was a really bad idea, but I was too tired to argue, and if she went ahead, she was going to have to deal with the consequences. Just one more thing, I'd said then. I'll need my rings back. If you're going to spread your legs for strangers, you'll do it without them on. She blew up and started to argue. I just sat there until she ran out of steam. I thought of a few more things while you were talking, I continued. You won't have time to rent an apartment while you're on vacation. So, do you want me to put your things in storage or take them to your mother's house? She sulked. She screamed. She refused to cancel her plans. 3 days before she was supposed to get on the plane, she came home to an empty house and a note. Thought it over, Decided I didn't want to live here anymore. Now you can go with a clear conscience, not worrying about betraying anyone. Have a nice trip. Oh, and keep the rings. They don't mean anything to me anymore. Her 304 friends urged her to forget me and leave, but she spent 2 days trying to find me. I had taken some vacation time myself and went camping. I idly wondered if she got on the plane as I cast my line again, determined to catch that big bass I missed last summer, when I heard a sound. I figured you'd be here, she said. Thank you for ruining a really good vacation. As you can see, I didn't go. Happy now. I felt that familiar raw twitch of anger. Maybe the old me, the one who didn't care, was about to show up. Hell no, I'm not happy. It's hard knowing that if I'd been a little weaker, you'd have trotted off, spread your legs, and had a hell of a time knowing you had me under your thumb. Why are you here? Trying to ruin my weekend? Won't work. You know why? Because you won't be here. Go home. Go somewhere else. Just get the hell away from me. Since you didn't go, I'll fire the private investigator and go for irreconcilable differences instead of adultery. Shit, it's so easy nowadays. We can be done in 4 months. The old me was definitely on the line now, bending my fishing rod double as the reel screamed. A huge bass burst out of the water, dancing on its tail. Had to be at least 8 pounds, maybe 10. Damn it. She chose that exact moment to attack me, cussing like a sailor. I was knocked into the water, and the big bass got some slack, spit out the hook, and with a slap of its tail, vanished into the deep. She was screaming and laughing at the same time. The water wasn't even waist deep, but it was damn cold in early April. I walked out slowly. Now maybe you'll talk to me. I don't want a damn divorce. You better listen. That's all she got out before I shoved her into the lake. She slid in the mud a little, waving her arms trying to balance before falling backward. I noticed she was dressed really well and that she wasn't wearing anything under that short skirt as she went under. Apparently, she was going for the sleep with him and make him forget plan. She wasn't looking so glamorous now, covered in mud and grass, shivering from the cold. She started to climb out, taking a breath to start screaming, when I shoved her back in. When she got to her feet again, I held up my hand. Listen, don't speak. If you open your mouth before I'm done, I swear I'll jump in and hold you under until you stop bubbling. Nod your head if you understand. She must have believed me because she slowly nodded. Now, what have we got to talk about? We both know if I had given in, you would be screwing someone else right about now. Deny it all you want. We both know it's the truth. I hope your 304 friends stand by you. You're going to need friends. Maybe you can spend your time trying to steal men from each other. God knows they've all made passes at me, even the married one. I'm going now. Do not follow me. Do not call me. Don't fight it when the papers are served. I could hear her crying and calling my name as I left. It was no surprise when she fought the divorce, but I had to wonder why. She got a really good lawyer who somehow got her case in front of this Judge Judy wannabe, a Judge Vine who was famous for trying to keep people together. And we had to go to counseling. I almost got a contempt order for mouthing off. This is just bullshit, Your Honor. Foolishness. I don't want to work it out. I don't want to save the marriage. I just want out. She got really icy with me. Mr. Mike, you don't have to like it, but you do have to go, and I better hear you're participating. Do you understand? I was pissed, so I really pushed it. The bitch was so full of it her eyeballs were turning brown. I understand, Your Honor. But tell me, didn't you go to counseling with your recently departed husband? Did it help? Seems I remember the divorce going through anyway. Let me ask you a hypothetical question, ma'am. If I were to say you were a terrible judge with no understanding of people at all, and it would be a great service to the community if you lost your re-election, would it piss you off more because I dared to say it or because I was right? I've never seen anyone go from pale to red and back again that fast. She slammed her gavel down angrily. Bailiff, take this man and have him processed for contempt. My lawyer and close friend was up in a flash. Hold on just a second, Your Honor. Are you going to jail a man for asking a hypothetical question? Your opponent in the race would eat that up. Please, he meant nothing by it. He's right, Your Honor. It was just a question. I take it back. I just couldn't resist. However, when you lose this November, and you're just a regular citizen like the rest of us, I'm going to make it a point to look you up and give you a detailed opinion of your skills. Alright, so I dodged the contempt bullet, but she got back at me by raising the mandatory sessions from 6 to 12. The first 3 sessions were really frustrating for both her and the therapist. I love to read, and instead of answering normally, I used quotes from books and poems. Shakespeare was a gold mine, lots of cheating women in his work. They finally broke through my defenses in the 4th session. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I wasn't as focused as I should have been. When she cried this time, I knew she actually meant it. The other times, she could turn it on and off too easily. This time, she couldn't stop. The therapist had asked why I married her. I was surprised because I loved her. I knew how she was. I'd watched her all through high school and most of college manipulate everyone around her to get what she wanted. That's why I never tried to date her. In the end, she had to ask me out. I went because I was curious. What could she possibly want with me? I wasn't rich. I don't think I'm that good looking, and I wasn't into games. We went to a party thrown by one of her friends. Her boyfriend, who she told me she had broken up with, was there. She tried to use me to prove she could get anyone she wanted, so he had better fall in line. Took me about 3 minutes to figure it out. After that, I decided to have a little fun. I pretty much ignored her the rest of the evening. Danced with her friends, flirted, did a little touching here and there, all where she could see me. She was furious. She finally got me outside and lit into me. What the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be with me. The one you brought, remember? Behave. It shocked her when I laughed. What the hell do you think I'm doing? I'm obviously the pawn here, brought to make your boyfriend jealous, who you forgot to tell me you were still involved with. I figured since you were a lost cuz, I'd do a little trolling. You need to find a new set of friends. Loyalty must be missing from their dictionary. I've already got 3 numbers, and Sue pretty much told me that after I take you home tonight, I should come back for a little after party. Apparently, no one had ever talked to her like that before. She started crying. Until recently, I could never resist a crying woman. I told her I'd make a deal. She'd act like she was actually my date tonight, and I'd act like I was hers. We went back in, and she clung to my arm the rest of the night. We ignored everyone else, danced only with each other. After a while, we actually relaxed and had a good time. I think she was really surprised when I left her at her door with just a small kiss. I had no intention of ever dating her again, but she saw me as a challenge. Slowly, she wormed her way into my heart. I told her early on I wasn't into her games. We broke up a couple of times before she got the message. To wrap it all up, we got married. I had the mumps as a kid. It was possible I could have children, but not likely. When we found out, I offered to let her out of the marriage. She chewed me out. I wanted to adopt, but she found one excuse after another until I figured it was too late. A good thing now, looking back. But counselor, she slowly went back to her old ways. Complacency, I suspect. It was little things, but as time went by, they got bigger. What she didn't understand was, I didn't give a damn what kind of car she wanted or the style of furniture in the house. Stuff like that meant nothing to me. If it made her happy, okay. But then she changed jobs, got a new set of friends. She started wanting girls' nights out. Again, I trusted her, so it didn't matter. She started coming home later and later. Then one night, she came in at 2 in the morning. Hair messed up, clothes wrinkled, lipstick smeared. That was the beginning of the end. She knew she had screwed up badly. She apologized, saying she was drunk and it never went beyond kissing. I left her for 2 weeks. She begged, cried, swore she would get counseling. I got weak. I did still love the stupid bitch. Still can't tell you why. Things got better. She realized she had control issues, really worked on them, changed jobs again. To get away from the bad influences, she said. Jump from the frying pan into the fire, in my opinion. If the last bunch were bad, this group were even worse. Slowly, she fell in with them. Girls' night out started up again. Then the Cancun thing came up. I looked up the resort. It catered to singles and people with alternative lifestyles. I knew without a doubt if she went, she'd come back someone who broke her vows, and it burned up all her vacation time, ruining the plans we'd already made. I tried to talk to her. She used cliches and bullshit straight out of the cheater's handbook. I reached my limit, gave her my ultimatum. Stay with me and try to fix our marriage or go and get ready for divorce. She refused to cancel, so I packed up and left before she did. She must have gotten a bit smarter because she never got on the plane. It was too late by then. I started the divorce process and here we are. Yes, she's sorry. Yes, she'll go to counseling, but will it be enough? Did she learn anything? Can she change? My question is, do I want to stick around long enough to see? In the end, I took her back, hoping for the best. Why? 'Cause deep down I really did love her. But I made her pay. I kept her on a tight leash, and I made her sign a postnuptial agreement that said if we got divorced for irreconcilable differences or adultery, the guilty party left with nothing but the clothes on their back. It killed her to sign that she loved the house and all her stuff, but she knew it was her only chance. We were good for a couple more years. Then she started changing again. It was so gradual I didn't notice at first. Little things, but as it sped up, I picked up on it. Started noticing this smug little smirk she'd wear, especially if she thought I couldn't see it. I called the investigators. In 2 weeks, they gave me their report. Sadly, I wasn't surprised. Jonathan Barrett, some little worm she worked with. According to the report, he was nothing but a scumbag, looking for rich older women to pay for his life. Handsome, I guess. I didn't like his eyes. He took one look at her fancy Mercedes convertible, the rings on her fingers, her perfect hair, and smelled money. He flattered her. She gave him little gifts. He must have been good in bed the number of times they met. I never saw them together myself, had them give the report straight to the lawyer I'd chosen. She had finally broken me. I waited until I knew they were together and sent her a text. Emergency. Get back to me. Call, no text. She called me back in 3 minutes, breathing hard. What's the emergency? It's not really an emergency, more a courtesy call. I'm divorcing you. Have Jonathan follow you back. You can drop off your car, and he can help you pack your clothes. Leave your jewelry on the dresser, along with your house and car keys. There was dead silence for a few seconds until she recovered. What in the world are you talking about? I'm talking about the postnuptial you signed. Remember the paper you signed to prove how wrong I was to not trust you? I'm talking about the fact that you've been screwing that slime ball for at least 3 months. I'm talking about the fact that you're in room 334 of the seasons in your birthday suit except for that garter belt. What color is that, lavender or purple? The picture on the live feed is kind of blurry sometimes. This is where I'm supposed to call you a whore, but I can't because you're paying for it with those little gifts and loans. What's a female version of a sugar daddy? A Jill. I could see her looking around wildly, trying to spot the cameras. Stop looking, you'll never find them. And tell Jonathan that the leather thong he had on looks absolutely ridiculous on a man his age and body shape. There's a website called Funny Farm that features stupid pictures. Tell him I posted him about 20 minutes ago. Just made him famous. He doesn't have to thank me. I have to go now. The locksmith should be here any minute. Wait, I'll be right there. Please, I can explain everything. Curiosity got the best of me. So, I grabbed a glass of my favorite wine and waited. I heard her car pull up, the quick click of her heels on the walkway as she rushed in. She looked around wildly until she saw me in the den. I had lit the fireplace. I found a fire calming. She approached me slowly. I stood. Sit, I commanded, pointing at the armchair I had placed across from the couch. She took a breath to complain about my tone, thought better of it, and sat. Wine, I said, pouring myself another. She nodded, wisely remaining silent. I poured her a glass, handed it to her, and sat back down. Give me a second to get comfortable. I love fairy tales. They tend to put me to sleep, though. So, if I nod off, forgive me. She trembled, a sharp retort on her lips before reason kicked in. Honey, you know I love you, right? She paused for my response. When I said nothing, she continued. I'm sorry. Jonathan was a mistake, but we're done. I told him so when I left. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll do better with your next one. My temper surfaced. Really, Mike? You're not helping here. I laughed. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to help. Help you what? Find another lover? There are a few guys around the office who might be interested, but most of them have pretty high standards. Maybe we could get your nude photos back from Jonathan, and I could show them the goods. I could do a testimonial. You're pretty good when you want to be. Think that might work. She went pale, wondering how much I really knew. It was pretty obvious, in my opinion. Letting your lover take nude glamour shots of you. Please stop being mean to me. Tell you what I will if you just tell me why. Why? Knowing what you could lose. Would you be that stupid? I don't know why exactly. Let me try to give you an example. You know that pair of Nike running shoes I've had for years? They're past their prime, pretty much worn out, but they feel so good on my feet. I can't stand the thought of giving them up. That's what my love for you is like. Solid, comfortable. I'll never give you up. Then you see a pair of red 4-inch heels in a shop. You know they're not practical. They'll probably hurt your feet if you wear them too long, but you know you'll look and feel sexy in them for a little while. Those shoes were Jonathan fun for a while, but I couldn't wear them every day. Do you understand? Honey, it was just a fling, tottering on those heels for a little bit, knowing you could go home and slip into something that made you feel good. Do you understand? I stood. I think I do. Thank you for explaining it to me. I walked to the hall closet and got my jacket. She followed me. Do you understand? You're not throwing me out tonight. No. My lawyer says I can't make you leave until the papers are served. And even then, I'm expected to give you a reasonable time to remove your things. He suggested 2 weeks. So you're probably good for 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. Can't sleep with me, though. I'll be a gentleman and move into the spare bedroom. I know how much you enjoy that custom shower you had me install. Her mouth was hanging open. I continued. Tell you what, if you don't make a fuss, I'll help you find a nice apartment, make the deposits, turn everything on, and pay the bills for 3 months. You make decent money, but you've never really had to pay bills, so I'll help you make a budget. You probably won't have anything left over for spa visits, expensive lunches, or shopping sprees. But if you brown bag it a couple of days a week, you can afford a night out every 2 weeks or so. I'll even find you a decent used car, but you'll be responsible for the insurance. Take it or not, it's up to you. But in any case, you're gone. I reached into the hall closet and pulled out my favorite black felt fedora. It was vintage, straight out of the 60s. I had a great uncle who never left the house without one. And when he passed, he left all his hats. 31 of them, all in great condition and stored in the original boxes. To me, they fit perfectly. I got them when they were just coming back into style. I thought I looked good in them. So did a lot of ladies at my office. My darling wife said I looked silly in them. I set the angle just right and opened the door. She was still trying to process what I'd said. We need to keep talking, try to work this out. It's not over. I eased her hand off my arm. Shoe shopping. I think I'll look at something young and athletic, or maybe I'll go for the class of Italian leather. If I can afford it, maybe I'll get both. Don't wait up. I laughed as I drove away, knowing she would be hitting speed dial. It would ring. She should hear it clearly, lying there on the kitchen counter. In the end, I got both in one package. My next wife would leave me in the dust when we ran 5 Burmese chots and dance me into a quivering mess in her 6-inch heels. 2 years older, looking 10 years younger, she was smart, sexy, a plain-spoken, no-games goddess. I worshipped the ground she walked on. She bought me hats on my birthday and anniversaries. I have over 50 now. Sarah tried to fight it, but when her lawyer looked at the prenup, yes, there was one that covered infidelity this time. He urged her strongly to take my offer. I didn't want her Mercedes, so I sold it, took half the money, and bought her a 4-year-old small Chevy. She actually thanked me. She married a couple of years later. And as far as I know, we don't travel in the same social circles anymore. They seem happy. I know she was in therapy for quite a while. Funny story. I actually went to court when my divorce was finalized, even though my lawyer said it wasn't necessary. Ran into the judge who handled my first attempt and ordered us into counseling. She was just an ordinary citizen now, having lost by a landslide. She was there for her second divorce. I almost got cited for contempt because I couldn't stop laughing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.